What was your name? Sorry.
Daniel.
Daniel. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
My name's Quaid.
Quaid.
Yeah, like Dennis Quaid. I don't know if you know who that is.
Nice.
Wasn't he in the right stuff?
Daniel. I don't know.
What was your name again?
Daniel.
Daniel. I'm David.
Good to meet
Good
you.
to meet you.
Okay, Daniel. So basically what we do is we try to get a belief that you have and explore that belief and talk about it and maybe try to understand, why you believe it and discuss the relationship between why you believe it and the belief itself. So is there anything that you would say that you believe that maybe a certain portion of people would disagree with?
Like what specifically are we talking about with belief?
It can be anything. It can be a belief. What I like to talk about is like beliefs in terms of like academic or expert topics. So beliefs in, biology, there's like evolution or the age of the
like
earth.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it can also be a religious belief. It can be a belief about the universe.
I don't know if it's necessarily a belief, but one thing I would always discuss about, I'd ask this with my teachers, was I'd always ask the question of, should a prison be focused on rehabilitation or punishment
Okay.
for crime? I don't know. Is that really something we're able to go into more?
Well, I'm wondering if you have an inclination towards one or the other.
I think it should be more towards rehabilitation.
Okay, so prisons should be focused more on rehabilitation.
Yes.
More on rehabilitation. And then you said then crime, but
More than punishment.
then punishment.
Yeah.
Okay. Then punishment. Okay.
Because, I mean, technically, it's all the crime that gets into the one prison.
Okay. David, do you have an umbrella by any chance? Because I think the sun's
In the car.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe make it a
Okay.
quicker one, and
Okay,
then
all right.
we'll move to a shadier.
Okay. Okay.
We're trying to not follow the sun.
Get it?
Yeah.
so the
Sorry, it's
sun's
like
not
right on
beating
you. So do you want to maybe? Is it okay if we switch
He's
seats?
young.
It's no biggie.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
fine.
How confident would you say that you are in this claim? Let's say from like a scale of -100 being you believe the opposite thing, to 100 you believe it fully.
Give it like an 85
An
to a
85.
90.
All right, 85%. Okay. And what do we mean by rehabilitation?
I mean more like, I feel that a prison should be focused on trying to get them back out into society as a, quote, like, normal citizen. I say that in quotes because it's like, it varies. But I feel like they should be more focused on getting people back out into a society where they're able to go back out, apply for jobs, and do all of these things instead of just punishing them for the crime to the point where then they're like zoned out of all this stuff.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time, regardless of the crime, people will be like basically screwed for life.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Is there anything that would increase your confidence in the claim from 85%? Any information we could find that would increase it?
I feel like things that increase why I believe this are, if you look at some things where it's just like petty theft and like lower scale crimes,
Mm-hmm.
if you look into those more, it sucks because they'll be in the loop of the same people who like had committed more like major felonies, because they both kind of count on the same record, unfortunately. Because I do believe it shouldn't be like fully one-sided. Like if someone's committing like bank robbery, murder, arson, etc., then that's more into a degree of punishment than rehabilitation.
Okay.
But things like petty theft or stuff, like if someone's stealing food for their family and suddenly now they're basically like, that's on their record, these places like won't hire them, and all these things they're just kind of like zoned out of.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think one of the ideas is that prison should be focused more on rehabilitation because some of the people in the prison system are really there for petty crimes. They're there
Some of
for
them are there for things where it's like, I mean, maybe even honestly, like, some of them I know it can just be like they were thrown in there because, I mean, there are few in this case, but there are some cases where people are like falsely accused, and if it doesn't get solved, even if they were a good person, that's on their record. They'll lose their jobs, they'll lose like
mm,
loans, etc. To the point where it's like that one thing that they might not have even been a part of screws over their whole life.
got you. Okay. Um, is there anything else that puts you at that confidence level, or is that the main thing?
The main thing is kind of like these people just are there for either things they didn't do or they're there for lower level things. And then there's also the opposite end, kind of to play devil's advocate. You wouldn't necessarily want like a murderer like back out, or like a pedophile or something like that just back out onto the streets, because technically the way we currently have our system, it's like they don't really try and rehabilitate them, so they don't learn that much in the prison.
Got you.
They're just kind of like thrown in there and forced to be on this routine. They don't really like try to rehabilitate the people in the prison. And it can lead to this, again, the statistics of like, I think it's like 60% or something, I'm not certain, but it's a certain percentage of criminals, like when they get out of a prison, will commit a crime again because they don't really have like this rehabilitation system.
Okay. So based off the first thing you said, that just some of them are petty crimes or some of them are false crimes,
Mm-hmm.
if we found better ways to accommodate for that, so if maybe we separated crimes better to where petty crimes were in a different prison system, would that change your confidence in the claim that prison should be focused on rehabilitation?
I think it would change it, because
Okay.
if we would get a better system to where these people are separated for their rehabilitation or bigger crimes, like if a large scale crime's on one end and a petty crime is maybe in a different prison, then of course that prison would be focused more on rehabilitating them, but I still feel like all of the prisons should be focused on rehabilitation rather than the punishment.
Would your okay, so let's say we have one prison,
Mm-hmm.
and this prison has like thieves and maybe like petty drug crimes or accomplices,
Mm-hmm.
and this one over here has like, murderers and just people who have done more serious crimes.
Yeah.
Would your confidence be different? Do you think the rehabilitation, the amount of rehabilitation should the amount of focus on rehabilitation should be different in those two prisons?
I don't think it should. I think they should all be at the same level regardless of the prison they're in.
Okay.
But it should definitely be on a higher level. So actually, it should probably be on a higher level in some of the bigger crimes.
Oh, okay.
But it should still both be given like the same quality of rehabilitation.
Okay.
So some may get more, but it should still be on the same quality level.
Okay. So in that instance, though, it doesn't seem like the type of crime really matters to you in terms of whether or not we should rehabilitate then. So I'm wondering if there's something else that's putting you at this confidence level.
To why I think they should be rehabilitated?
Yeah, to why you think we should focus more on rehabilitation.
I mean, I think we should focus on rehabilitation because at the end of the day, everyone is just kind of like, we're human. We'll all make mistakes, and even the people who don't make mistakes, they should at least be given a chance to learn from it.
Okay.
And just a chance to try again rather than having one thing ruin their entire life.
Okay. Everyone should be given a chance to learn from their mistakes. Okay. Their mistakes. Okay. All right. Is there anything that would decrease your confidence that this is true? Things we could figure out that makes you think, no, maybe we should focus more on punishment.
I feel like if we were to go with this
Mm-hmm.
for maybe like 20, 40,
okay.
50 years, and there was no change in like the statistics, then maybe it would go back, but we just need more evidence of like seeing if this works or not.
Gotcha. So how would we know if it's working or not?
I think we'd have to first try rehabilitations in prisons on like tons of different criminals, different backgrounds, different everything. And then when they're like released back out, we'd either need to see like either A, monitor the person to see like, okay, what are they doing? Did anything change with them? Or B, see like what the crime wave statistics look like in those like 50, 100, etc. years.
Okay. So the idea behind this is if we're monitoring people and they're not recommitting crimes, is that the idea?
So if we're like monitoring these people and we notice like, oh, the scale of crimes is going down,
okay.
then we know it's working. But if it's either staying the same as what it used to be when we first started this, or even going up, then we'd have to look at other things, such as other statistics that would lead these people to this and see if anything else is influencing this. Because
Okay.
maybe it could even be a whole different thing. Maybe like they could be rehabilitated and know it's wrong, but even then it could be a situation of like, oh my gosh, I don't have money, I have to take this food or I'm gonna starve to death, or something
Okay.
like that. And we'd have to then look into more statistics, such as like income, housing, just everything.
Gotcha. So if we, so let's say there's somebody that says that prison should be focused more on punishment than rehabilitation, and they're kind of citing the same things as you. I guess we would kind of just use the statistics to figure out which is which.
Yeah, it would have
Okay.
to go down to like statistics and
Okay.
stuff.
Let's say this happens. Let's say we focus more on rehabilitation, crime wave goes down, but let's say mental health goes down as well. Let's say there's a scenario where the victims of the family, the family of the victims, right? There's some psychological detriment. They don't commit any crimes, but there's just a psychological detriment to them because they don't see justice being done. Would this
Now, I feel like this is also a thing where it depends on the crimes, because this may vary from like family to family with statistics, but let's just say like when they get arrested and they're trying to rehabilitate them, let's just say the family's like, I feel like this is wrong, then it's solely at that point might be just out of our hands. Because if you're trying to do what's best for the prisoners, but the family isn't really like noticing this and instead thinks it should be like punishment, then I feel like at that point the family might be the one in the wrong.
the family might be the one in the wrong. Okay.
Yeah, 'cause
okay, gotcha.
basically it's like a way to put it is we're trying our best efforts to help them so that they could continue back out, get a job, keep living their life.
Okay.
And if the family's like, I don't think that's a good idea, I think they should be punished for the crimes they committed, like, at that point, no one's going to be happy all the time. No one will be happy with everything. And there would still be things, obviously, like longer sentence, bigger crime, etc., etc. But I feel like even if they're in the prison itself, their life shouldn't be taken away from them.
Okay. Okay.
Because they should at least be able to function in a somewhat society.
Got you. Okay. So based off of that conversation, I guess, is there anything else you could think of that might influence you one way or another?
I know one thing, it's kind of going back to the mental health thing,
Okay.
where some groups may be like, if a crime happens, like, they killed my family, and you're just going to try and rehabilitate them and let them back out when they did all this to me and ruined my life.
That's a good point. Yeah, what if
Because then it's like, they ruined my life.
Yeah.
Why are they getting let back out? And then it's kind of in a weird scenario, because they did all this and they could have done it full malice, full malintent. And some things, even if it's trying rehabilitation, eventually it won't work. And that is why there should honestly be a mix of both rehabilitation and punishment.
Yeah.
Because if someone's like a horrible person, they're like burning down a hospital or something, then that's at a point where it's probably just like they can't be let out because maybe they're like mentally unstable, or even if they were fully stable, knowing that they committed the crimes, then it could be at a point where it's like, we can't let them back out or it will be worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you took it down an interesting road. I am
Yeah.
interested. Do you think your confidence would change if more of these things happened to maybe you or people in your family?
It would definitely change if it happens to yourself, because
Okay.
suddenly something goes from a statistic to something personal.
Okay. Okay.
Because unfortunately, how a lot of people look at it when they see these crimes of like people getting killed, they see it as a statistic instead of like people losing their families, these people losing their lives, these people's lives being ruined, kids having to go to an orphanage, etc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or like people
yeah.
being traumatized,
Yeah,
etc.
the overall
from
impact of the crime.
witnessing something.
Well, so based on any of that, would you say, your confidence is the same, unchanged?
I'd say that it's kind of more of now a shift of like, there needs to be a balance of rehabilitation and punishment.
Oh, okay.
Because it needs to be more of a middle ground to where you're able to the smaller people who maybe it's like accomplice, etc. Or like, there's been situations of people who like, they don't know they're being used as a getaway driver or being used for this crime.
That's true too. Yeah.
But then there's bigger things, again, like murder of people, like terrorism, etc., to the point where it needs to be punished.
Okay. So you're at 85%. Would you put a different number on it now?
Probably
or
just 80.
80? Okay.
So not much of a shift, but a little bit.
Nice. That's kind of the point. The point is to talk it through and see if, if our confidence changes just based off of an open discussion about it. So,
I mean, it just helps to have an open discussion, to hear like different opinions when you can actually talk to people.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, when a lot of people have differing opinions, I feel like it just becomes a screaming match.
Yeah, and that's what we try to avoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have a dog in the fight, so to speak, into these things. We just want to be able to talk through them and
Talk
think.
through it
Yeah.
and look at like the different sides. Because when you like break it down, both parties are calm. They can even look at the other side. Because like I started talking about the other side, I think, before you did.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's sort of the point. So, thank you, Daniel. Right?
Yeah, Daniel, thank you.
Thank you so much for the
Hey,
conversation.
I appreciate it. It was a good time.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. So what is like this little thing here?
It's something called Street Epistemology. Yeah, you can look it up online. It's an organization that basically we talk to people about what they believe and why they believe it. And we talk about confidence scales and basically just try to encourage reflection and critical thinking and some of those things. So that's ultimately the point of the organization, is just to inspire reflection and critical thought.
Nice.
Yeah, to get people to think through things. Yeah. No particular. Some people will do it with an agenda, but there was no agenda there.
I mean, if there was, I didn't see it.
Yeah. So, to me it's, you could be 90% tomorrow and I'd be like, yeah, that's good.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
It changes.
Yep. But nice to meet you,
Yeah,
Daniel.
nice to meet you guys.
Hope to see you around.
It was a good time.
Cool. Thanks again.
Dude, Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
You're
Yeah.
causing shifting all over the place today.
Yeah, I think Daniel was a really open, individual. So I think that kind of makes it easier, and the other person is open to being incorrect about things and thinking about things dynamically. I think it's funny because to me, the ultimate shift came in something he did and not what I did, which
Right.
was making it personal. I was like, oh yeah, that's right.
But you created the opportunity for that to happen.
Yeah, for sure. And, that's why I like in these conversations to, sometimes I'll ask a question, but sometimes I'll say, can we think of something, that can kind of,
It's like a group effort.
yeah, a group effort. Yeah. Doing things to make it more of a group effort as opposed to, I'm the interrogator
Right.
and you're the person with the beliefs that I'm interrogating. So yeah, that was great. And that was one of those circumstances where, my bias is that I agree with him. And I'm probably more confident than he is, and he ended up lowering his confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have faith that he'll continue to think about it, as time goes on, and end up in a better spot regardless.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
to
that's
me,
great.
that's the important part. I got bit by a bug partway through that thing, and
Uh-oh.
it tore me up. Anyway.
Sometimes when I happen to agree with the claim, I try to ask them why they think their reasons are good reasons to support the confidence they have. So I might hear better reasons than the one I have.
Yeah.
But I came up with a critique that I have. Because it's been really difficult to try to come up with a critique today.
Oh, okay.
Offering them to ask you any questions that they might have.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that is good.
That might be something that I would encourage.
Yeah, I think I have like a list at home of things but I didn't bring it, and I think that is one of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions they have.
Yeah. Like give them you've been asking all the questions, give them an opportunity to maybe ask you, and that can kind of open a door.
Yeah.
To maybe share a perspective that you have that they may not have heard.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because I really would have liked to ask that in the interviews that I had, and it just skipped my mind. I think Earth is a living being. I have a lot of interesting thoughts around that, and the penal system too. So yeah, I'll try to keep that in mind in the future.
Cool. Anything else you want to say about this one?
Nope. I'm all good.
Cool.
Yeah, I had more to say about the last one, but we got interrupted. So
You can share it
yeah,
now
it
if
was
you want.
just that like
Racial.
yeah. It's like it's a unique
segregation.
thing. Yeah, for me, it's like my family's like really heavily not segregated. My family's like really heavily diverse. So to me, I'm just kind of listening to other people talk about it, and through talking to it's as somebody whose family is really racially diverse, people really do seem segregated to me. Like I can't help but notice that if I'm talking to a white person, the chances that their whole family is white, near all white, is really high, which is strange to me because it's just like my family doesn't really think about those things that much. Some people on the white side of my family do. They have some issues with that. But yeah, it's to me it's like I didn't expect it to be such an odd thing that I'm mixed and my brother's mixed, but it's more odd than I thought it would be. But
You think it's more segregated than the 50s?
I probably wouldn't say that. I'm open to being persuaded that that's true.
Uh-huh.
I don't currently think that, no.
Based on your definition.
Yeah, based on my definition. And again, what I was trying to get at when he was talking was like, okay, so this isn't necessarily like a legal thing. I would say definitely by law, I don't think we're more segregated. We might be more segregated, just people naturally being attracted to groups that are more like them. That I could probably buy more. And there may even be some anecdotal evidence behind that, but ultimately, I guess I don't know. Yeah, by law, though, I would say definitely, I would say I'm pretty confident that we're not.
And that's easier to measure, too, right?
Yeah, by law. Yeah, the legal things would be easier to measure.
Than societal constructs or whatever.
Yeah. You have to start getting into indirect interpretations of the law that justify segregation, whereas there used to be very direct interpretations of the law that mandated segregation. I don't know of any that we have today.
Cool. Good times.
Awesome.
Why have I not done that?